Good afternoon. This is Practical Autodidactics and my name is Yuri Besarab. There was a question of one of the subscribers for these videos, and the question was about how to maintain the knowledge of a language. Any language, it doesn't matter concretely which one. So, very good question, and I developed a little, some kind of a little list of issues instruments that we need to have in order to cover, to answer in order, to this problem, in order to tackle it. First of all, we don't need to think that it's possible to keep the knowledge or skill, better to say, of anything, of a language, of playing a music instrument, of playing football, whatever. It's impossible to keep it on the same level. This is the nature. We just have to realize it. I remember that Kurinsky drew some kind of a little picture. I'm trying to show it to you. Okay, now it's better. So we think that it's possible to use this dot line and to keep our skill on that level in anything, but it's impossible. We go down, or our skill goes down, or we go up. Our skill goes up. We develop it. So there is no other way. It's either up or down. So realizing this, we need to have some other techniques in order to answer to ourselves, or better to say, to this feeling of like inconvenience, internal discomfort that we are not doing something. First of all, we need to remember that there are some of the skills, or some of the skills, or some of the things that we are doing that we have vocation to. We are called by nature, and if we quit them, this is a big problem. Then we could have disorder, psychological disorder, let's say. So in order to handle it, we need to understand that there are some solutions. First of all, we need, for example, if we don't have time, this is easier to handle, because we usually think in big chunks or in big lumps of time, and it's but we need to change it. So if we try to find like a little split in the time during which we can practice our certain skill that we love. For example, it was about languages. For example, we love Japanese, for example. If we speak about European language, we love French. We need to find just a minute. We can, and it's always possible. So this is the ideal demand to ourselves to find a minute. That's it. And then we will see, if you practice it, and we tested it many times on autodidacts, that it comes down that we could find about one hour, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 of these little minute by minute little pieces of time, during which we can definitely learn the subject that we love. So this is one more technique for you. The other technique, that we should not be afraid of quitting. Of course, I don't speak about vocation, because then quitting causes that discomfort, and in that case also we can do exercises, or we can do our favorite stuff in our mind, in our imagination. That is also a technique. Paganini, for example, played all his caprices in his just imagination, and that was enough for him, because he had that level of the skill that was sufficient not to practice it on violin every day for many hours. He could do it just in his imagination, and that was enough. So we could use that example also. In the case, then we need to quit. Just for example, you want to practice violin, but you broke, God save you from that, but you did something with your hand, for example, or something happened to the instrument itself, to violin. For example, there is no string, or there is a problem with the bow. So we need to quit for some time, but when we start again, there is a rule. We need to start from the very beginning, and it's It will give a lot of pleasure. First of all, to start from the very beginning, you will feel that. And that is a good sign that we treat our psyche, our soul, in a correct manner. So we need to start from the very beginning, and then we observe and move on. Also, any skill, whether it's in politics, whether it's in the war, whether it's violin or language, we need to break down into 5 stages or 5 levels. The first one, when we start doing something, we need to break down everything to the movements in that particular discipline. If we speak about languages, it's just movements of speech apparatus. That is the basic, the lowest level. Okay, and the first one, if we speak about violin, those movements of left hand and right hand, yeah, and so on and so on and so on. You can continue practicing and plan with your imagination how far you can go in finding just basic movements. This is a very good exercise, by the way. Second stage, when we work on, if it's about languages, when we work on word movements. In other words, when we have several movements and we need to connect them one by one. It's like almost in every word we have 2, 3, 5 movements. So this is that level, and we work on that. Then next level, it's passage technique, from French word passage. So here we work already on sentences or short phrases, and we start reading, and I explain to you how to read, to practice linguistic reading. So that's the level on which we are working, and we are working quite for a long time. The requirement to ourselves is just to perform the text pretty good. There could be some, let's say, lacunas or some gaps, but we need to clarify them to ourselves and to work. Then level 4, when this is the level in languages when we read and understand at the same time. So, but if we speed up a little bit, we lose the understanding. So this is level 4. And on the 5th level, we practically use the skill, and we can play, whether it's violin, we can play from the sheet music, or from our, let's say, imagination, if we speak especially about jazz. And in languages, it's when we can speak, we can think in that language, when we can read and understand at the same time on pretty high speed. So this is what we need, and we can apply it to anything. Next thing, if okay, we need to not to be afraid to quit, and we start from the beginning. There is one important issue to remember. We need to understand clearly the difference between tactical goals and strategic goals. Tactical is when it's from military terminology. Tactical, it's when we need to win the battle today, or maybe to do something little militarily, not only a battle, today. Mostly it's about the battle. And strategic goal is to win the war. The same with languages. So for us, tactical level is to go as down in learning as possible, basically to the movements, and but the goal strategic for us is to read, let's say, 20, let's say, masterpieces in that language that we are learning. Or if it's violin, to play 20 concerts or 50 concerts, I don't know, you decide on that. But that is already strategic level. So we need to understand the difference in order to not to, let's say, violate our soul and our mentality based on that. So I think it will be enough for today on this issue. Thank you very much for your attention. Put likes and spread this knowledge about autodidactics of Valery Kurinsky. And bye-bye. Put also questions.